American songwriter, we had the opportunity to talk to Jutes. My brother-in-law, Sean Ulbs of the Eiffels, was able to talk to Jutes over Zoom audio. Jutes molds alternative, pop punk, and hip-hop into anthems bold enough to soundtrack memories you hold on to forever. Jutes has already gathered 20 million plus global streams. He tells us about growing up in Ontario, signing with Capitol Records, and his latest EP, A Really Bad Dream. Make sure to check out our Facebook page and YouTube channel as well, at Bringing It Backwards, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bringing Back Pod.
We'd appreciate your support if you follow and subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
We're Bringing It Backwards with Jutes.
Hello?
Hey, Jude.
What's
Jude,
up?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. What's up? How you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm chilling, man.
Thanks for stopping by. Where are you at right now?
I'm in LA, in North Hollywood.
Oh,
Going
nice.
home.
You're not too far. I'm
Yeah.
over in Highland Park right now.
Oh, sick. Dope.
Nice. So we're not too far. So thanks so much. I've been bumping the stuff lately, and so I'm stoked to hear your story.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Why don't you just take us all the way back and let us know how you got into music?
It started out, it's funny because I didn't make music growing up as like a kid. I grew up in Ottawa, Canada, and I was really into basketball. And then I quit basketball and got into film, like right at the end of high school. And then I was like, all right, film's gonna be my life. I really want to make movies. So then I quickly threw together my best efforts at a portfolio with what little I had, and I ended up getting into one of the best film schools in Canada, to only find out immediately, like within the first year, that I was like, oh no, this is not what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, I like making movies, but the whole like going to school for it aspect, there was a lot that I didn't want to do. So I started making music in my dorm room in college, kind of as a joke. Like, I was making little rap songs, kind of just making fun of myself and stuff.
Yeah.
But I got like weirdly passionate about it, and the jokes started fading away and it started becoming real. And then I ended up dropping out of film school halfway through my second year, around Christmas time. I dropped out and was like, I'm going to do music full time. Mind you, I was terrible. Everyone was like, this is a bad idea. My mom was like, please finish school. Like, but I decided to just gun it, and was very broke for a very long time. Just trying to make it work, playing little shows to 10 people, etc. And yeah.
Was there someone in college who turned you on to music? You know, did someone have a software or something they were using and that you saw, or were you inspired by something in particular?
Not really. It was so yes and no, like not in college or anything, but my buddy, who I believe at the time lived in Vancouver, Canada, started sending me little rap songs that he was making on his laptop. So that's what kind of got me to like, I was like, all right, I'll make some to send back, like just for fun. Cause I was so bored. I was depressed. I was like, I'm spending so much money to be in school. I don't want to be here. Like, so it was just like a way to kind of escape all that. And yeah, it kind of, my homie Tristan kind of, we would make songs together. We were a little duo for a bit. And yeah, but as far as the program goes, like I just used GarageBand. I started off just rapping into my like webcam mic, like the built-in mic on the laptop.
Nice.
That was what I used.
So you said they were kind of jokes at first. Was it kind of purposely comedy rap, or was it funny because you were a novice at it at that point, or both?
I think it was definitely both. I mean, it was definitely like the songs were making fun of myself, and it's really because I didn't have the confidence. Like, everybody knew me as a basketball player. People knew that I was artistic, but trying to be a rapper just felt like everyone's going to think I'm crazy. Like, where I'm from, like, it's not really that many people trying to be a rapper. I know that nowadays everyone probably has like a little phase where they try to be a rapper, but like at the time it wasn't that normal. People definitely didn't believe it was possible. So like my way of countering the hate was to like, oh, if I just make fun of myself in my songs, then it's like y'all can't really say anything because I don't even take it that serious. You know what I mean? But deep down I did. It was just like that was my little like scapegoat. Was like if I'm making songs joking, but it's like the 8 Mile thing at the end.
Exactly.
Like,
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah. Take the wind out of their sails.
Literally, I was 8 miling facts. That's literally it. So it was definitely jokes, but it wasn't jokes.
Right.
I was very serious about it.
I hear you. So you start making tracks on your laptop. You're just making some not so serious vocal tracks through your laptop speaker. Coming from wanting to do film, was there something in particular that interested you about film? Was it the acting side, the writing side, the directing side, the production side?
It was just like I've always just been creative, and I've always kind of liked, I mean, even to this day, I do my cover arts. Like I'm a big part of all my video. Like I just like being involved with everything. So like for me, it was like all of it. Like the videos I was making at the end of high school, which is what got me into college, was like videos that I would, direct. I would throw a camera on tripod and film it myself, and I would edit it, and I'd be in it. Like it's kind of everything. Like I just loved the idea of making films, like being able to put, whatever audio stuff I wanted in there. It was like kind of all aspects of it. Were dope, I thought.
That's why I was asking, because I was wondering if you've brought any of that, because you probably learned something in that first and however many weeks you decided to stay at film school. What have you brought?
And I met some people. I met some people that are like crucial parts of my career to this day. So that's why I say like there was never a mistake in me going to school, because I met my homie Jake, who's like, this guy's my rock. Like he's done every animation for me. Like every video I have, we talk about it together. He's directed, he's edited a lot of my videos. So like I met some like pivotal, like some very, very crucial people in my life while being there. So like it was all meant to be. But yeah, it definitely, the film thing died out. There's a lot of aspects of film that I don't love, because it's a lot of waiting around, and I like instant gratification. So I just like music more.
Yeah, I mean, knowing some people on the video side of things is critical nowadays. In the social media world,
especially when you're starting it out.
Yeah,
and just starting with no money, like no, I don't have contacts, I don't have money, like I don't have resources. So it's like it's all just like, who do I know at the level that I'm at right now that I can grow with, And I think a lot of the people I look up to, like you look at Drake, you look at The Weeknd. The Weeknd's creative director went to high school with him. You know what I mean? Like that's. You start the relationships at ground zero, and you build them up, and like you can see that you can take it to the top of the world if you stick together and you guys both are on it.
Yeah. So so it sounds like, you definitely have at least one guy. Or were you working with the people you went to school with to make your video content? And at least, I know you said you like editing and all that, but were you having people shoot it for you or at least help in some capacity?
Yeah, it started out with us just kind of being like, hey, what can we make happen? And then it's just like, as more money comes into like play and things get a little bigger, you can get more people involved. You can start getting a team around you, and you can start aiming a little higher.
Right.
But in the beginning, it's literally just like us trying to make $0 look like any amount of dollars, like.
Right. So you're making some music, and then you start kind of partnering up with a couple people. How did you take it from, garage band, while going to college into something more serious?
That is kind of just like over the years chipping away. I mean, I got Logic, which is the program I use to this day to record my stuff, but, just kind of meeting people along the way. Like the dude I live with in LA right now, he's an artist as well, 12 a.m. And we actually went to the same high school in Ottawa. And then we lived together in Toronto for a bit. And he was always he's been making music for his whole life. And so he just like learned how to mix his vocals, record himself, and do a lot of things that I had no idea how to do. So he taught me a lot of things. And then from what he taught me, I just kind of like used that, and just, that was like my school basically was him giving me like the ground zero, like template of where to start. And then, you know, you just kind of learn. And that's what I tell everybody. That's what I tell any fan that's like, do you have any advice? I'm just like, learn to do it yourself, because that's the ultimate power. Like there's people that are on the radio right now that still do it themselves. You look at people like Russ, you look at, J. Cole can do everything. Like the best in the world. I heard Ariana Grande comps her own vocals, meaning she goes through her vocal takes and chooses the best ones. Like she's a pop star, doesn't have to do anything for herself if she doesn't want to, but she knows how, and she knows what she wants. So like, I always tell people that's power, is knowing what you want and then finding a way to get there yourself. Because in the beginning, no one wants to give you a shot, like
Sure.
you can't be mad at everybody, because that's just how it is in life.
Yeah.
You got to kind of earn it.
Totally. And I think that will bode well for longevity as well, because even if you do sell yourself to somebody and, sell your talent to somebody and say, hey, I'm worth investing in, if they somewhere down the line decide, actually, I'm going to move on, and you don't know how to do those things yourself, then, that doesn't bode too well for you at that point.
Exactly. And it's like, you're going to meet people that want to invest, but the budgets are only what they are, like if it's early on in your career, you're not going to have these crazy budgets. So the more you can do for yourself, the more money you save to put into things that you maybe can't do on your own. You know what I mean? So like,
for sure.
That's what I do these days, is just like, if Capitol Records is going to give me a budget, I'm going to do everything that I can do myself for free, so that I have more money to concentrate in the areas that I need help,
Yeah, that's smart. I really feel like that's something, I would say that the best legends probably knew this, but I feel like it's something that even the more indie artist knows more and more nowadays, compared to maybe decades past. So you start,
it's becoming the norm.
Yeah. Yeah. So you learn some tricks along the way from some buds. Your production gets better. You get Logic. At that point, do you start playing shows? Are you dropping your music just independently on streaming platforms or SoundCloud? Where do you take it from there?
So I became like Mr. Local Opener. Like I was in Toronto when it comes to like the rap scene, but like it was a unique kind of rap scene. Like I'll be honest, is the white rapper scene is like where I started shining as far as opening up for people like American artists that were coming to Canada on tour. I was opening up for a lot of them. I was getting calls by a lot of promoters. Like I became known as like a guy who would hustle his ass off to sell tickets, and I was like, literally they'd give me tickets, and I would streetcar or I would subway all over the city, delivering tickets to fans that would buy them, like just putting in the work and actually bringing out sometimes more people than the headliner back in Toronto. So I was really just trying to make anything happen, and my music and talent and recording ability was still pretty low, but where I shined was in the live setting, just interacting with people, and just my people skills is kind of what got me a fan base in the beginning. More than the music quality. Music wasn't very good, but at one point I had people from the States driving 15 hours to come watch a 20-minute set. Wow. And they would come hang out with me after, and we would party and stuff like that. Like I would have people coming from all over to see these shows, but they were tiny shows and the music wasn't very good. So I knew that like my strength was just, until I get good enough at writing songs and singing and whatnot, I knew that my strength was just hustling and getting out there, getting on stage and meeting people. And that's how I converted a lot of fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you take your people skills and apply it to people who are so far away?
I don't know. It always kind of seems like a distant memory, but it's kind of just like creating like a little community almost. Like, I don't even know if I could tell you how it happened, but just like, I was just such a weirdo that like, I feel like I just resonated with a lot of people because there's a lot of people like me. And I was like, I had no shame. I was never too cool for anybody. Like, I was just like, I was out here putting in the work. Like I I was really meeting people and like connecting with people, and like these people were becoming my friends, you know, like these fans of mine were becoming my friends. They were becoming people that I knew. Like their moms would come to the show, bring me little cupcakes and stuff. Like it just became like a little community. And I think that was like my base, my ground zero for this whole thing that's going on right now.
Right. So these were people that you did meet in person, but they just so happened to not live too close to these places you're playing.
Right. Or I mean, some of the people that were far enough away, there's no way I would have met them in person, but just like, I don't know, they could have reached out at one point and like, we just really hit it off. And, you know,
yeah,
I just think that like, there's a lot of work you can be doing as an artist that a lot of people want to be the famous cool guy right away. And it's just like, nah, like answer everybody, like talk to everybody, like anyone who cares about you, like make that person realize that you care about them too, you know, because it's hard, man. It's hard to make people care, like especially in an era where it's like everything is like you have no time to keep someone's attention. They'll just move on to the next thing. Like real people like real people, you know? So I just think putting in the work and just making sure that you're not too distant from the people that actually care about you.
Right. Yeah. They say, I mean, that engagement is something I almost feel like you're totally right. I mean, I feel like that's almost a best practice nowadays with as much as an artist can, you know, to at least respond to the people who, you know, are trying to reach out to them and care about them. But, you know, obviously whatever you are doing is working in spades because you've racked up millions of streams. Looks like over 20 million streams, you know, just on the streaming platforms. And you're getting great press and all that. So tell me a little bit about how, you know, you start generating some of this just momentum from, you know, your great people skills and being personable. And then so you build kind of this grassroots. How do you go from that to all of a sudden, you know, 200 or 2 million streams on a song and, you know, on multiple songs and 1 million streams on your most recent single, Bad Dream. Tell us a little bit about how you really got the ball rolling after that.
So basically I was so invested in the live show, like I was saying, and that's where I saw the most success. And I mean, my roots are from basketball. So like my thing in basketball was like, all right, I can shoot, I have good ball handling skills, but what I lack? Defense. Okay. So I got to work harder on defense. I got to get better at defense. So like, for me, it was like, all right, I have a little foundation now. I actually have I can say I have a fan base now. But what I need to do is learn how to write a better song. Like my songs suck and I can't really sing very well either. So I'm just like, all right, I got a little something here that I can sit on. And then I started playing less shows. I just started writing, you know, a song a day, sometimes 2 a day, and almost all of them sucked. And I would just keep writing. And, you know, you just learn, you just get better at anything that you do that often. And like, I was never a singer, but now I can kind of sing, like I'm decent at writing songs now. And, you know, once this COVID thing is done, I'm going to get back to the show thing. Yep. But I just think like it's working on your weaknesses. Like, where am I weak? Okay, my music. Like, people like me when they see me, but it's very, 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 very small percentage of people are going to ever see you. So you got to learn how to rope them in with the music, you know? Yeah. And the music thing was a secondary thing for me. So that's basically what happened. Like, I just, you know, became obsessed with songwriting and studying music and, you know, not even being able to listen to a song the same way as I used to before, like as a fan. Like, I'm just a student now every time I hear a song. So it just became focusing on the part that wasn't thriving and trying to build that up. And, you know, I've been lucky enough to do that. So now when I go back on the road, hopefully I can combine the two pieces and make something pretty special happen.
Yeah, then you're gonna have the live show, which you kind of already had down, and the fan
with
engagement
some cool songs.
combined with some actual good music.
That's the dream.
It's so funny that it's like you did it backwards. You know, you got the fans, and then you got the music.
I know, it's weird, but it's like I feel like I did it like the old school way, but nowadays it's like don't play a single show until you're semi-famous, and then you start touring and there's already people there and you're learning how to play shows in front of audiences when you have like potentially a hit song or like pretty big songs and you're just getting used to playing shows. Whereas like, I was like, I suck at, you know, writing songs, but I'll get out there and rock out on stage and I'll go and meet every single person and their mother at the show. Like I'll do that. So I kind of did it like the old school way, is like a band would just get in a van and just tour and play to nobody for 2 years before they started getting exposure and then they get a record deal, you know?
Yeah.
So like I kind of did it that way.
So it reminds me of this, you know, it's a great point, you know, working on your weaknesses and knowing what they are. I remember years ago hearing a interview or watching an interview. It might've been on MTV when they actually still did music interviews on MTV, but I think it was Kanye West.
Way back when.
Yeah. It was Kanye West was on there.
Crazy.
And he was talking about, cause he was mostly a producer back then. And he's like, yeah, I got my producer game on lock. I just need to learn how to be, you know, get my lyric game up. And once I get my lyric game up, it's over for everybody. And he said,
that's it. That's it.
And,
see, that's awesome. I love that.
Apparently, you know, and he's not doing too shabby nowadays. So apparently he knew, you know,
right. Guys got a little bit of success.
Yeah. He's only got a couple billion now, I think. But so you start sharpening up your writing to go along with your tracks, and then so was there a couple pivotal points? Did the right people see you in a certain situation? You know, how did you take, you know, those songs and get so many people to start listening to them or getting them in front of the right people? You know, you said you know, maybe Capital, you came in at some point. At what point did that happen?
Well, it first started off with like, I'm basically releasing to the people that follow me. So it's kind of growing by word of mouth and very slowly. And then I ended up getting posted. One of my songs called Cocaine Cinderella way back got posted by a channel, a YouTube channel / SoundCloud channel called Swaggy Tracks. Mm-hmm. And they had millions of subscribers and millions of followers. And so they posted one of my songs. I didn't even know it until I checked my DMs or something like that, my messages on SoundCloud, maybe somewhere. And someone was like, how'd you get Swaggy Tracks to post you? And I was like, what? And I checked and I was like, no way. And I was like, oh my God. And that song got like 100,000 plays. And like before it was like 1,000 plays would have been a ton. I'd have been like, whoa, 1,000 people like listen to this. So it got like 100,000 plays or something. And I was like, oh my God. And then I started, you know, DMing with the guy who runs that channel, and we kind of like became acquainted, and you know, he started supporting me, and then other channels started supporting me through that exposure. And then I don't remember what song it was. I dropped a song when I was living in Toronto, and this is when things started kind of like I was actually seeing like real growth here. And then I dropped a song, and then I started the next week I got like 3 or 4 calls from different labels. And wow. Yeah, and they wanted to hear new music. They were like, when are you going to be in LA? It wasn't serious enough that they were like, we're flying you out to LA, but they were like, when are you going to be in LA? We'd love to meet you. We'd love to hear new music, etc. So they started keeping tabs. And then, yeah, I kind of just made the move. Like I just moved to LA, lived on my homie Taro's couch for a few months and kept grinding it out. And then, yeah, like the label stuff started picking up a lot more. And then I started getting flown out places. I got flown to New York to meet with some labels, and things started getting a lot more serious, and offers started to be a real thing. And then, yeah, Capital is just a no brainer because my A&R, Kate, is just the best. Like she's like a friend, you know? And I just have been so scared of labels. Like, yeah. I'm just hurt. You just obviously hear horror stories. So I was so scared of that. Especially being a guy that likes doing everything himself and being a part of everything. It's like you're giving up a lot of that potentially with a label. But, you know, with her, it was just like, she's like, I trust you. I love what you're doing. And I've never had any kind of like pushback against me being like, these are the songs that are coming out in this order. Like there's never been a second question about it. They just let me do my thing. So I was just like, all right, this is obviously the spot. This is what I got to do. So it was just like a lot of just, you know, releasing a million songs until finally, you know, with every release, more and more people start taking notice. And it was about as organic as it can get.
Yeah, it sounds like that YouTube playlist was a really pivotal point. And it sounds
Dude,
like,
whenever that happened, I was like, dude, when I win a Grammy, I'm going to shout out Shaggy Tracks. Like this
yes.
dude changed my life. Because at the time, like I was nothing, and then having a song with 100,000 plays was like, I literally was like, oh, I did it. Like this is it.
Yeah.
It's all happening now. Finally, it's happening.
And but it's also, you know, that happened, and you know, if you don't have anything to follow up, you know, that momentum could quickly die. But it seemed like you had the necessary, you were equipped to take on the moment that you were lucky enough to be presented with.
It could just be the basketball thing, but like I'm used to working very, very hard. Like I was very talented, but never as athletic as everybody else. So I was like, I got to work extra hard to compete. Like that's just my mindset with everything. So like right now I'm sitting on probably 200 songs, you know, like I just don't ever stop at this point. So like, yeah, once people started to take notice, I was like, I'm ready. Like I'm already 10 steps ahead, you know, like I've got stuff for years.
Do you think that volume of music further stoked the flames of the label interest? Because were you letting them know, hey, I got a million songs that I can drop?
Yeah,
Was this
they
something
definitely weren't mad
mentioned?
at that. And when that was happening, I forgot to mention, I was dropping a song every 2 weeks. So I was like going pretty fast. So that's like in the heat of, I was dropping a song every 2 weeks. And then one of them, right before I signed my deal, got on New Music Friday. And I was like, whoa, independently, I just got on New Music Friday. I've never done that before. So I knew that, you know, just work, keep getting better. Things are just going to keep going up. And even if no one gives me a shot, like I'll just create my own shot, you know, by putting in the work. Like if it takes me 10 years, it takes 10 years, but I'd rather work really hard and make it happen in 10 years than like wait for someone to help me and then miss out on being able to do it myself, you know, if it doesn't happen.
Totally. No, that's such good advice. You got to just do it. And, you know, if there's no door, make your own door.
If they show up, cool. If they show up and they want to help, sick. If they don't, at least you've been working and you're going to get there. Just take longer, you know?
Exactly. And that mentality is what people look for in people that they want to work with. So, you know, like you said, they, you know, doing it yourself is so necessary nowadays. So that's what labels are looking for anyway.
Exactly.
Well, Jutes, crazy story, man. You got me stoked. You got me motivated to work harder myself.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the goal, bro.
Yeah. So
anything's possible. That's what I tell anybody. I'm like, dude, I came from a farm in Canada. Like I lived on a dirt road. It wasn't even paved. Like just from the middle of nowhere. And now I'm in LA. Like if I can do that, anyone can do anything. It just takes, you just got to be a little bit crazy to the point where people can tell you to quit and you just laugh and say, I'm going to keep going even though I have nothing. You got to be a little crazy and you just got to, you know, want it more than everybody else. Like that's what it comes down to. How bad do you really want it?
Yeah. And so I don't want to forget to mention that you just dropped A Really Bad Dream. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's my sophomore EP. And it's funny because the EP before this was very pop punk, and that's like my ultimate favorite kind of music is like 90s, early 2000s, grunge, pop punk, love that. But I also grew up listening to a lot of hip hop. I played basketball. Everyone on my basketball teams always was all hip hop. So like I was so into hip hop, so much so that at one point, like in high school, a phase in my life, I like disowned rock music. I was like, I only like hip hop. Like I was really hardcore into it. So this project, A Really Bad Dream, is me getting back to the hip hop, but also keeping the pop punk alternative feel that I had on the last project and kind of meshing it all together and just kind of, I think, creating my own sound. Like I finally feel like this is Jutes. Like this project is me, and it's everything I've done up to this point all combined into one, and I'm super proud of it, and I'm super excited to be able to have stuff from that sounds like from the stuff I was growing up listening to, and then have the new stuff and have it all combined. Like I'm proud of the hybrid that I've created on this project.
Yeah, that's a great feeling to feel like you found your sound, because I feel like you can, not that you haven't already gone full steam ahead with 200 songs, but I think if you're confident in your sound, you may even increase your output even more.
Definitely, for sure.
Well, Jutes, thanks so much for letting us know, how you got to where you are right now. We'd like to end the interview by asking if you could offer, and you've offered some jewels already, but if you could offer one piece of advice to aspiring artists, what would it be?
I would say that work ethic is very important, obviously, for anything, but I would say the mindset. Mindset is like, I almost would put it first. I would put mindset over anything, because it is such a challenging road. And this isn't just music, like making something happen that is hard or a little out of the ordinary, that a lot of people don't believe is possible. Doesn't matter what it is. The mindset is everything, because believing in yourself is the only thing that'll get you through no one believing in you for a bit, because that's all going to change. Like, no one will believe in you, and then everyone will believe in you. And then you'll probably start getting hate again, and then you'll get love again. But your mindset has to be rock solid through the whole thing, because a lot of people quit, and they might have quitted right before they, got a big break or saw what they were looking to see in order to continue. And, I just can't stress enough that, like, not quitting and just having the mentality of, like, I believe in myself and I'm going to keep getting better, and I'm going to change all their minds. Like, that's huge. You got to be able to do that.
Right. So true. You gotta have that consistent mindset. You talked about at least pop punk, but I remember I was having a kind of a joking discussion one time when I was out in the wilderness with some friends about what being punk rock was. And after a long discussion, a friend of mine just pointed at this big boulder in the middle of like this river that was just rushing down. And the boulder was just in the middle, but it wasn't moving, And
so punk rock.
He's like, that rock right there, all the water's just rushing through it and it's just staying there. It's just,
Dude,
it's
that's awesome.
It's rock solid.
Dude, that is literally the most flawless analogy.